So welcome to another video from Rockwell Consults, and this video is the first video in a series of videos that I plan to do with respect to the new Infor PLM for Discrete Cloud Edition version, which is included within LN now. It's not a standalone product anymore. It is really considered an extension, if you will, or module of LN. And you can see it has an actual menu within the menus of LN, and as you expand, you can see that there are several things that we can do within the module itself. But today I'm going to concentrate on creating an item and just kind of walking through maybe how to generate what's considered a very simple product structure with some very generic data. There's nothing really big with all of this, but I wanted to at least get that in here out and try to generate some interest into what it actually can do. It has a lot of the functionality that you used to have in the previous versions of PLM, with some improvements, and I will allow you to make the judgment on whether that is a good thing or a bad thing based on my assessment. But again, they're definitely trying to put some effort into creating a more viable product that is easier to be handled and managed from within ERP, from within LN. So that's really the intent. Now this is the cloud version, so this is actually, you can see from my login, we're in February 2024. So that is at this point, that's the current version I'm running here because it's cloud based. So what I will do is try to provide at least an understanding of the high-level requirements or high-level functionality of what it provides, and then we'll go into maybe something a little more in-depth in future videos. So let's dive into this thing. The first thing I want to do is talk about these menus. So the big one I want to deal with, of course, is in PLM data management, where I would go to item management and select PLM items. Now you can see I have my LN favorites. I have several in here, which includes obviously PLM items here as well. So I can right click on my PLM items and say add to favorites, and then when I add to favorites, then of course it says which group do you want to have, and by default it selects the one that's open. Well, it's already there already, so I don't necessarily need to do that right now. So we go ahead and click cancel. I'll select it from here. It opens up this page, which is all of the items. This is the item list, if you will, based on previous, but I just want to go ahead and create a new one. And in here I can see that I have some defaults available to me, and what I can do then is select maybe some values here, but at this point I'm just going to let it go as is. I'm not going to become too involved with creating a bunch of values and describing every single field. So the important thing is that, as you see, you have a red star here, so that's telling you that this is a mandatory field. The auto number tells you that this is going to be generated by the system, or the system is going to manage this. Now I can overwrite this if I want to and go ahead and put a value in here if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. And this is saying auto number on the description again, because it has to have something. Then it copies whatever number that's generated for the item and drops that into the description. But since I can do this, I will go ahead and just say test opponent, and I'll call this 0221 2024, just to give it a number. And maybe I'll do it backwards. Let's go the other way. That way it's somewhat chronological. So 02, if I can do it here, 0221. So let's go here, and I'll leave everything here. And the only thing I do need to add is if I have to go into my character, my selection. And this product code is mandatory because what I'm using is this is part of the actual description, or the item number. So the mask is what is called, that is used to generate this number, can be configured to allow you to select some sort of an intelligent number if you want to have something that's specific, up with a prefix, with a suffix, but it has to have some sort of a sequence in there to say grab the next number after the one that was last used. So that is a requirement for any mask, but as far as what's required around that, as what you want to call it, if you want to have text in there, if you want to have dashes or maybe a decimals or some special character that means something to somebody, that the system should allow that to happen. So by putting that in here, I can now go ahead and say save, and it grabs that 321 here and grabs the next number. It says I've never used 321. Then it grabs the first number for that list. Okay? So with that said, then let's go ahead and let's take a look at what I can do now. So if I were to take this number and say duplicate, and I'm going to take this now and say test component number 2, and then say copy, and I'm going to say one more time yes, and this time instead of calling it a component, I'm going to call this a subassembly. So subassembly, and this is going to be number 1. And then let's go ahead and copy that. I'm going to duplicate number, I'm going to say this time I'm going to say no. So I just have, and you see it grabs number 3, because each time it created a new copy, it grabs the next number. And let's go ahead and then select from my BOM, I'm going to select the other 2. So 321, so let's go ahead and do a search for 321. That's actually just above here. So let's grab 321, 1, and let's grab another one. Oh, I didn't like that. Okay, so let's do it one more time. So 321, 321, that's 1, and let's grab another one, and let's grab 2, actually, since it by default does that, so let's go grab 2 this way. So go off of that, let's save it. So now I've created my 2 components under my subassembly here. So an easy way to handle your BOM management is by going to references and saying structure, and that opens up this here where you can now see the indented BOM. And what it allows you to do then is you can actually go into each one of these, select them, and then by selecting here you can now make changes to those individual fields that were located here, but these are all tabular. You know, these are all seen on each tab as being nice and neat and orderly, whereas this is just strictly a list of your information and how you want to manage it. So with that said, then of course I do have the ability to click the edit button here, and if I wanted to add something here, like say test component, maybe I didn't like test component here, I wanted to add new data. Then I save that, and if I go back to here, and if I look here and refresh this here, then I have my new description here as well. So that's the intent. Obviously from here I can also deal with my quantities if I needed to. There's some other information, effectivity ranges and stuff like that if I needed to review that. When it was created, who it was created by, what the security access level is, things like that. Now under here I have documents. I do not have anything just yet. So you can see that I can't really, well actually I can't, so I'll take that back. So if I want to create a new document, then I'm going to go ahead and select my lookup. And instead of selecting one of these, which I could easily just take one of these, I'm going to click new. And then under here, I'm going to call this the test component document. I just call it test component. It is a document. And I could call it a drawing PDF, or I'm going to call this, I'd rather have this be a, go to my specification, so my, let's grab the right type, so spec, and for now we'll just call it procurement spec, even though it may not necessarily be that, but hey, why not? Because what I'm going to do now is, and now that I have this, I'm going to click, I have to save it first, sorry. So let's save this. Now I can add my files. So I'm going to go ahead and select this and grab this TI-AIC, which is basically integrated circuits. So click OK. And I go to Files. There's my file. So it uploaded the PDF. So now that that's there, I'm going to click Save and Close. I'm going to say yes, select that one, and now I have my document attached to that specific component. Okay? So that's really, in a nutshell, that's really what we're trying to do in PLM, but just in a much more elaborate, much more complex way, because it really does handle it in this specific structure. And I can add many more files to that specific document. I could add many more documents to this particular item. I could link a document to another document, either in a related sense or in a reference sense. It really depends on what it is we're trying to do. So again, this for a first pass and just trying to generate something inside PLM, this is really what it's all about. Obviously, we haven't even touched any revision control. We haven't touched any of the other components or how a workflow handles these types of things. We will definitely deal with that in future videos. But for now, you can enjoy seeing something about a product structure within Infor PLM Discrete. So until next time, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and you can leave some sort of a comment with respect to, hey, a request, and say, hey, I would really like to see you do something like XYZ or whatever. And then based on your requests, then I can go ahead and provide more videos with more information and give you a better feel for what it is that PLM Discrete is all about. Okay? So until the next video, I'll see you later.